Hello student, welcome back to the world of computer science paper 2. Your very own CS2 ma'am, Jyoti ma'am. So let us begin. Student, we have started with the chapter 1, Introduction to Microprocessor and Organization of 8085. Till now we have seen 5 lectures. So let us see very fast summarize what we have done in these 5 lectures. So we have seen what is a microprocessor, evolution of microprocessor, then we have seen the functional pin diagram of the microprocessor 8085. Microprocessor 8085 is a 40 pin IC. We have seen each pin in detail its function, right? So let us proceed to the lecture 6.
So student, in today's lecture we are going to see the block diagram of a microcomputer and each block in detail. A microcomputer is an integrated system of computer components. Which are the components? You are using the computer every day, yes or no? So what are the components of a microcomputer? Everybody knows it. It has a input devices, it has a microprocessor unit or CPU unit, which is the heart of the system. Then data storage devices, that is ROM and RAM. Then the input output devices, that is monitor, keyboard, right? So let us see the what are the blocks of microcomputer. First one is input devices, that is keyboard. Microprocess unit, this is the heart or brain of the computer, right? Then the memory, program memory, that is ROM, data memory, that is RAM, and output devices, that is 7 segment display. So these are the blocks of a microcomputer. Block diagram of a microcomputer. The figure shows the detailed architecture of a microcomputer with all the essential bus and control lines. So let us see. So what are the blocks we have seen? Keyboard. Keyboard is inputted to the next block is keyboard interface, microprocessor unit, program memory, data memory, and display. Here you see the data bus. Data bus are bidirectional. See, data bus are bidirectional. The data flow in and out of the devices. Okay, so this is the data lines showing the flow of data, how the data is flowing. These lines are power supply. This is a block of power supply. Power supply is necessary to each and every block of a microcomputer. So each block needs a power supply, right? Our MPU chip, that is 8085, works on 5-volt power supply. This side we are shown the address bus. Address bus are unidirectional and they are 16 lines, right? 16 address bus. So these are unidirectional. They are from MPU to the peripheral devices. So MPU sends the address to the peripheral devices, and then over that address the data is sent. On the lower address the data is sent, and this is a control bus which controls the timing and signal of the system. Clear? So this is a what? Control bus. So clear? This is a interrupt lines. Now the keyboard when the data from the keyboard is entered, then the keyboard interface, which is in between the keyboard and MPU, keyboard interface. So what is the function of this keyboard interface? So when the keyboard interface is a device that interface the keyboard to the computer. The main function is to inform the computer when the key or instruction is inserted from the keyboard. So it keeps on interrupting the microprocessor. So once the microprocessor, if it is busy in what is a microprocessor? Microprocessor is nothing but is a single integrated circuit IC. We have seen 8085. So this microprocessor accepts the data, execute the code instructions in machine code for the purpose of manipulating the data and controlling the signal. We have seen the primary function of a microprocessor unit. What were they? In first lecture I have told you it is very important. The primary functions of a microprocessor unit in a microcomputer. They are to fetch, decode and execute the program instruction in proper order, to transfer the data to and from input output section, respond to external interrupt, and to provide overall timing and control signal for the entire system. This is a function of the MPU. So when the keyboard interface interrupts the CPU, the MPU might be busy in doing executing some another program or doing some another task. So it sends an acknowledgement, yes, I came to know that you want my service. It will complete the current executive and then it will collect the data. Here the data is processed and accordingly it fed back. So here we have a bidirectional arrow. ROM. What is ROM? Read only memory. So here the monitor program are stored and we can read the information stored in ROM. So the arrow is outward. See, the data flows out. We cannot write the data in ROM. So arrow is outward direction. Student, you have to keep in mind the direction of the arrows. So now it will clear why it is out and it is not bidirectional or inside, because we can only read the information from ROM. Clear? Then the data memory. We can store the data as well as we can read the data. Reading and writing the data from this memory is possible. So the arrow shown is bidirectional. It is a temporary storage device. Okay, we can write in and we can read from. So यहाँ पे bidirectional arrow is shown and then the data goes to the display interface. It is temporarily stored and then it is displayed on the 7-segment display. Clear? These are the flow of data. The address address is generated by what? MPU. It generates the address of the particular input output devices and the data is shown on them, and the control signal for to provide the overall timing for the system generated by the MPU. Clear? Then we can see a clock. We have seen what is a function of the clock. Clock provides the necessary synchronization used for the synchronization for the slow working peripheral devices. If the peripheral are devices, then for synchronization and the speed of the system is depend on the clock. Okay, so this clock is to the MPU. So this we have seen the block diagram of a microcomputer. You have to write the explanation for all these blocks as well as the lines that are nothing but control lines, address bus, data lines, power line and interrupt line. For 4 marks, student, the question comes: draw a neat label diagram of microcomputer and explain each block in brief. See this diagram, there is a trick how you have to draw the diagram. First draw these blocks and you remember that right hand side is a data lines and power supply. Left hand side आपको क्या draw करना है? आपको address bus and control lines draw करना है and then show the flow. See, very easy. First very fast draw the blocks. कितने blocks draw करने? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 blocks. Draw first block. Draw the connection of this side. Remember यहाँ पे क्या है? Data bus है, power supply. Other side address bus and control bus, and then show the flow. Very easy. Hardly it take 10 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes to draw the diagram. Is it clear? Okay, student, now let us see the explanation. Input device, that is nothing but keyboard, right? The instruction as well as the data prepared for a particular program are entered through the input device called as keyboard, right? The next block was keyboard interface. See, the microprocessor, it is necessary. Why this block is necessary? When the instructions and the data is entered through the keyboard, it is not possible to feed the instruction directly to the MPU because the MPU may be busy in performing previous instructions or tasks. So for temporarily it is stored in the keyboard interface. So the instruction or the data entered from the keyboard is stored in special chip called as keyboard interface. Is it clear? So this is nothing but keyboard interface. It is an interface between keyboard and MPU. Now the next block is microprocessor unit. The microprocessor unit process the system data and control signals are generated to control the system. All the processing and the data flow is done with MPU chip. So MPU, we process the data. So we have seen the primary functions of the MPU. What are they? To fetch, decode, execute the program instruction in proper order, to transfer the data to and from the memory and to and from the input-output section, respond to external interrupts and provide overall timing and control signal for the entire system. So these are the functions of the MPU unit, right? The next block was program memory ROM. ROM, we already studied in 11th standard different types of semiconductor memories. So ROM is non-volatile memory. The content is retained even there is no power. The content can be set by or content can be written uh, by fixing it during manufacturing or burning it using a programming devices. So we can write a set of instruction in it permanently by burning it or during the manufacturing. Okay. The common type are PPROM, EPROM, EEPROM, right? So we all have seen all this type of ROM in 11th standard. Now here the ROM, the program memory contains the monitor program. Okay, contains permanently stored program known as monitor program. It has address bus, chip select and read signal line. Okay, it doesn't require write signal, right? Because we can read from ROM. We cannot write in ROM. It allow only to read the stored information. Yeah, that is program memory ROM. The data memory, that is RAM. Now already we are studying in 11 the content are lost without power supply. Volatile memory used to store the data temporarily. We have seen there are two type of RAM available, that is static RAM and dynamic RAM, just for your information. Here what it does, it is used to store the data. It is a temporary storage device. Reading and writing of the data into memory, so bidirectional bus is required. We have seen in the diagram, we have shown a bidirectional arrow. Next is display interface. Before the output display, we have a display interface. A special display interface IC is used to store the data and drive the display. Okay, so it stores the data before it is being displayed in display interface. Output device, that is nothing but here we are shown a stored data is displayed. Display interface are displayed on a 7 segment display. We have a 7 segments display which will display the information. So when we are going to use a microprocessor circuit, I'll show you the 7 segment where we are going to use the 7 segment display to load our program, to execute the program, right? So that time I'll show you. And when you came in the lab, also in electronics lab, you might have seen there is a clock which is a 7 segment which displays the time, and there there are 7 segment displays are used. Okay.
So the address decoder block, what is the function of that? It decode the address and select the proper chip. So the see, every ICS has a particular address, so it selects the proper where the data has to be delivered or to be written in or to be read from. So it decodes the address and selects the proper chip clock. Why? Already we have seen clock, the whole circuitry is synchronized with the clock. The speed of the system depends on the clock frequency. Power supply block. Power supply is necessary to operate the circuit. We have different ICs, for that the power supply is necessary. Clear? So these are the blocks.
So let us see the important lines. The first line is interrupt line, used to interrupt the MPU. We have seen the keyboard interface the MPU when the data is pressed from the keyboard. We have seen there are 5 interrupts for MPU, right? Trap, then RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5 and your INTA used to interrupt the MPU. Okay. Then address bus, 16-bit address bus from MPU or CPU. So address bus are from MPU or CPU, right? These are unidirectional bus. Data bus. Data bus are bidirectional data to transfer the data among the MPU and the devices, right? Control bus, it carries the control signal generated by MPU. Power line, it is necessary to operate the circuit. So we have seen, student, the block diagram of microcomputer and the explanation of each block in brief. So this question comes for 4 marks. You have to draw the block diagram and explain all the blocks in brief. See, student, here the central processing unit or MPU. It consists of 3 blocks: control unit and instruction decoder. What is the function of this unit? To synchronize, control overall operation of the microprocessor system, to decode the instruction and pass the necessary control signal to CPU. Next, arithmetic logic unit. This section will perform the arithmetic and logical operation within the CPU. The next, the set of internal storage location within the CPU. So these are register. We will see each block in detail. So we are going to start with ALU. We'll see what is the function, what is the block diagram of ALU, what all function it does. So all these blocks are within the CPU. So we are going to see arithmetic logic unit in this session, and next section we'll see registers in detail. So let us see, the next topic is block diagram of ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit. It consists of a status register, binary adder, the shifter. But sometimes this accumulator and temporary register are also considered the part of arithmetic and logical unit. And here we are seeing internal CPU bus. So where arithmetic and logic unit, it is a 8-bit unit. So this is a 8-bit unit. It performs, what is the function of ALU? It performs arithmetic and logical operation, rotation operation, right? By shifting, addition. It consists of a binary adder. यहाँ पे क्या होता है binary adder? To perform addition and subtraction, right? Then the result is stored in accumulator. See, data यहाँ से आता है, one data. For addition we require 2 data. So one data is stored in temporary register and another data is in accumulator. See, whenever you are performing any logical or arithmetical operation, one data will always be in accumulator. So we got the data, here the addition takes place, again the data is stored in accumulator. The result is again stored in accumulator, right? So here the addition or subtraction takes place and the result is stored in accumulator. Accumulator and temporary registers and the flaglets are closely associated with ALU. The temporary register is used to hold the data during arithmetical and logical operation. The flag are set or reset according to the result. Here the status register is nothing but a flag. There are flag. We'll see this flag in later lectures. So status register, there are flag, they are set or reset according to the result of operation in the status register. Okay, so let us see this in detail. So we have a binary adder, status register, a shifter, and accumulator temporary register. So these are not part, but they are considered as a part of ALU. Blocks of ALU. What are the blocks of ALU? Adder, shifter, and status register. Let us see the function of each block. That is binary adder. Binary adder perform arithmetic operation like your addition, subtraction, increment and decrement. What do you mean by increment? To increase a register by 1. So if you want to increase the value by 1, you are going to use a increment, and if you want to decrease the value by 1, you can use a decrement instructions, right? So with the result being fed to the accumulator via a internal bus. Again the result is stored in accumulator, right? So this is nothing but adder. The next is the shifter. The shifter performs logical operation like rotate right, left, rotate right, etc. The result is again placed onto the accumulator. Again the result is placed on the accumulator. The status register. Status register or condition code register, it is also called as condition, contains a group of flip-flop that can be set and reset based on the condition created by ALU operation. See, if we have to perform the addition of two numbers, so here one data is coming from temporary register and one data is always stored in accumulator. So here the addition is performed. After perform, the result is of addition is again stored in accumulator. So in that case there might be a carry because we are using addition for 8-bit only numbers. So there might be one additional 9-bit also generated. So there might be a carry generated. So this is nothing but carry. So status register consists of flags. We are going to deal later of flags. So here Z is nothing but Z flag, 0 flag and carry flag. So based on that the flags are set or reset depending upon the operation. Shifting, either we can shift the data to right and we can shift the data to left. So this letter while doing this shifting left and right, we'll come to know how it get multiplied by 2 or divided by 2 by using right shift and left shift. So this was nothing but the block of ALU. Clear? So the temporary and accumulator registers are many times considered the part of ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit. So student, this was nothing but ALU. The question comes on ALU. Explain the organization of ALU with the help of simple block diagram. ALU is nothing but arithmetic logic unit. So student, we came to the end of introduction to microprocessor and organization of 8085. In today's lecture, we have seen the microcomputer block diagram of microcomputer and each block in brief. Then we have seen the organization of ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit, a simple block diagram and explanation of blocks. So here we came to the end of session 6. Thank you.